Aloha and welcome to this video about building a meditation practice or refreshing it if you already have one and it's really important to you and you've been seeing great results in your life. But maybe you want to explore some other methods, some other things that you could add or change to it to make it even more powerful, even more beneficial for you in the long term, even though that might not even be the goal. Awareness is going to help us either way, right? Because we have that awareness practice integration loop. The more we build awareness, the faster we can spiral up. And so that's what this meditation practice is largely about. In this video, we're going to be looking at why it matters so much, some essential foundations, principles, I suppose, of the practice, effective methods, different stages that you can go through if you want to do a multi-stage practice like I've found to be extremely beneficial through the years, and how you can remix that for yourself, set it up with timers and all of that. So why does something like a meditation practice matter? Well, awareness is the most available starting point of positive change. If we want to interrupt the habit cycle, for instance, of cue, routine, reward, and change that, then we can change our awareness by being aware of the cue. Right? I notice a craving here to do a certain habit loop. If you are aware of that, then you have the power to change it. Here's food for thought. The more awareness we have, the more freedom we have. Let's see, you can roll that one around to see if it checks out. Now, with most meditation practices, we are also improving our mental fitness. We are training and we are practicing the ability to focus, basically. And that mental fitness and that ability to focus is becoming an ever more rare and valuable superpower these days in a world full of noise and distractions and opportunities to go and do 1,000 different things at once and open your phone and whatnot. The ability to, maybe be aware of even urges, right? Oh, I feel like checking my phone right now. Or, oh, I feel like eating this food right now. But if we can focus, surf the urge if we need to, focus on the most important thing regardless, then that is literally night and day to people who never practice that. It's the difference between somebody who doesn't train athletically and somebody that does, but it's for mental fitness. Another reason why this matters is just like physical practices, we can hurt ourselves with unhelpful mental practices, unhelpful mental diets, routines, and whatnot. I won't go too deep into the psychology, but I'm sure you know of somebody who seems to think themselves into a very unhelpful, unproductive, not fun place. And we've all been there a few times, whether it's lying in bed at night and thinking through every terrible thing we've ever done and how we're identified with that or whatever. But in this video, we're going to go over some really important things that make all the difference. By the way, a lot of what this is based on, my studies with this, is looking at medical and performance miracles, the things that are just way out of the ordinary, and then especially when it's backed up with some sort of scientific study and verification, or at least theory about what is going on there, observing what this example went through. I find that very helpful for breaking out of old ideas, breaking out of old patterns, expanding my idea of what is possible, expanding my awareness, right? Also, there are the practices of the most happy, purpose-driven, healthy, wealthy people now or in history. You could look at Marcus Aurelius, you could look at ancient Taoist practices, and then there's also plenty of people that I've had the honor of just sitting with and being with and meditating with, whatever it is in present. Overall, just under the label of some sort of meditation, I've studied well over 85 different methods, courses, different teachers, different philosophies there, and it's more and more and more every month, every year. I like to try things new. But I do have this pretty bedrock multi-stage practice that I either modify if I want to, or I do at least a few times a week, and then I try something else, on Saturday, for instance. All right, essential foundations here. I'd say the number one goal is just awareness of what is. It would be so wonderful if we just stopped lying to ourselves. And so awareness of what is, yes, it's very Zen. It's just unfiltered. So you're just noticing the exact sensation, in your calf muscle right now, maybe, or in your hip, in your knee. And then just noticing the thought as it comes through. Is there an image? Are there word thoughts that come through? Are there feelings? Just noticing what is in awareness. And a lot of the skill in the practice is expanding awareness in a broad way, so you're aware of more different things at once, or narrowing it down into a very, very specific, detailed awareness of one thing. Maybe just the breath, or just the candle you're looking at, whatever your practice is. Number two, waking up and opening the heart, for me at least, my measure of success is how much love I can experience at any given time, right? And so if I am seeing the trend of, oh wow, I'm experiencing more love, I'm becoming a more loving person and whatnot, that lets me know that I'm on the right track. More than probably anything else, more than any other measuring stick that I could compare to the amount of love in my life. And so meditation has been absolutely world-changing in that sense. Also, this practice, this mental fitness practice, we're treating our mind like we're treating our body, and we want to clean it daily, right? We want to groom it maybe, we want to exercise it, we want to improve our mind just like we improve our body every day. We are cultivating the inner power of focus, making space for intuition, for deep listening, for healing. We can heal way faster. I've done it myself. I got surgery the other day. It is healing ridiculously fast just because I've been sitting there like breathing into it more than being distracted. Where you put your attention, the energy goes, things happen faster. And also, to say it in a funny way, unfuckwithable emotional health is a massive benefit. Just emotional intelligence, you could call it. But it's that grounded, like no matter what is going on around you, you're noticing things in awareness. You don't need to identify. You can be aware of like, a part of me wants to freak out about this or yell or whatever. If we have that space and that awareness, then we have the freedom to choose our response. And like my measuring stick is love. Well, that means pretty much no matter what comes our way, if we can catch it, if we can be aware of it, then we can respond with as much love as we can muster. All right, effective methods here, and I use the term method lightly here because eventually all techniques are abandoned. Like the funny old quote, the donkey that one rides to the door is not what is used to enter the palace. And so a bit like that, we ride a certain technique or a method or something, and then if we really want to go all the way in, then all of that is just dropped. All of it's not even a thought. So the methods that we are about to go over are in suggested order. Of course, you can remix this, experiment with this. It's like a workout routine. You're probably never going to feel like you have the absolute perfect routine ever. I have updated it over time as I have learned more things, experimented with things, found what is valuable for me. It is my intention that you pick up something that you find very useful and you run with it too and make it your own. Number one, coming to our senses. I like to start with sounds, and you just reach out to notice as many sounds as possible. Further and further away, more and more detailed. What can you hear right now? Same with the eyes. What are you seeing? Just try to ramp up the detail. And not just what you think you're seeing, but like what you're actually seeing. So if you look at a blank wall and it's just a blank wall, but you're seeing, dancing colors or static or patterns of light or something on it, then that's in your visual field too. Same with your eyes closed, right? It's not just dark or red. Usually you're seeing a bunch of different colors and particles and squares or whatever you're seeing. If you don't, that's fine too. You're just noticing. Smells. Same thing. You can get very, very detailed with smells. You can smell so many different things at any given time. Try it right now. Same with tastes. Even if you haven't eaten anything lately, there is a taste in your mouth. It might remind you to brush your teeth. Or you're like, And then sensations. The air on your skin. The feeling of your bones. The breath. The temperatures, the moisture. This is one that you can get endlessly detailed at. You can spend your entire practice here just in physical sensations, and it would not seem boring. With sensations, I suggest trying to get very, very detailed, and that's usually easiest by doing a scan, a body part scan. And then you can practice being aware of maybe both hands at once. Maybe both hands and both feet. Maybe even both hands, both feet, the pelvic bowl, the heart, and the head. And you're probably going to lose some clarity, but that's practicing that more broad space awareness, right? Maybe you can notice your organs functioning, pumping, your heart beating, your brain going doing brain things. What can you feel? I know there's no nerves in the brain or whatever, but I bet you can sense some sort of sensation, some sort of energy. And maybe you can even sense that outside of your body too. And so coming to our senses, yes, we can get hyper detailed in one of them. We could do our whole meditation practice just listening and coming back to the listening every time we get distracted. Or just feeling the heart even. And then keep coming back to it every time we get distracted. And that's a fabulous practice too. I also like to try all of them at once. And you're going to feel like you're trying to juggle like 10 things at once, because you kind of are with your awareness, right? And that stress of trying to be so aware of so many things at once is what expands our ability to be aware. And you can do this with eyes open, eyes closed, whatever. And you can do this while walking down the street. Can you be as detailed as when you're sitting silently in a chair? Probably not. But the practice of coming to your senses in different scenarios is life-changing. That's why we put this first. Stage 2 is awareness of subtle information, the subtle body. And this is all thought forms, all thought packets, maybe the thought images, whatever they are. Notice them come through. They disappear at some point. They all flow on. It's like a river. And the river has like little eddies, right? Sometimes it looks like, there's an eddy and it's kind of in one spot. Eventually it dissipates. Even though it's just water flowing there, like it looks like it's the real thing, even that pattern of flowing energy will clear at some point. Same with the emotions. You might sit there, you might notice a feeling. You don't have to label it straight away. There might be a label sneaking in of, oh, that's sadness, that's joy, whatever it is. You just notice it. Get a little bit of space between your awareness and the object of awareness. Then there's all the energy frequencies in the body that are a little bit more subtler than like the temperature and the moisture you were feeling. You can get a little bit deeper into the physical body. Notice the energy frequencies around. Maybe you're hearing weird frequencies. I know I do all the time. And motion. The motion in your body. Not just the breath. Not just the organs pumping. Maybe you just might notice the motion of sensation, right? You have like, oh, my awareness is here, and then it's kind of like moving here. The motion of the mind, different thoughts churning through, for instance. Just noticing all of that, noticing how it flows on. And any other subtle things that you notice here. Number 3, after practicing that base awareness, is I like to wrap things up with a breathing practice, usually something like Wim Hof method or Tumo, something. I like something intense in the morning, or just a big, long box breath. So you start 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, and get longer and longer, 8 seconds, 8 seconds, 8 seconds. Whatever you want to do for your breathing practice, this is one that I usually do change up on a daily basis. Personally, I like going intense with this and doing long breath holds. And I say / energy work here, because one, like breathing practice kind of is energy work. You're clearing things, you're moving things from your body and whatnot. But also, if you just want to sit and breathe normally and whatnot, and instead focus on the microcosmic orbit, or focus on a chakra, or all your chakras, for instance, that is absolutely fine too. The central channel connecting your hips to your head and feeling that big beam of light going up your body. Maybe you feel your aura, you cleanse it, maybe clean it, light fires, imaginary fires, whatever, in your aura, clean it out, or real fire. You can feel it. You can feel the motion of a fire, like in your space, clearing energy. And then there's the different techniques like tapping, qigong, where you're actually moving and squeezing and flowing with energy, through the spine, through the limbs, through the collection points, the meridians, all of that. Whatever it is that you want to do here that you find useful, that maybe your body is asking for on the day, this is a great space for it, and you can set however much time you need for it. So this next stage is largely based on 40 Years of Zen with Dave Asprey, and their little secret ingredient is the power of forgiveness. Just like the Course in Miracles or Pema Chodron and whatnot, forgiveness has proven itself time and time again to be extremely powerful in freeing up our mind, our ability to focus, our ability to enter deep states, and basically it's just making our mental and physical fitness a lot healthier, a lot faster healing, all of that. It's absolutely incredible, and forgiveness is kind of the gateway, because if we are holding on to something we are harming ourselves. So if we can stop doing that, that would be fantastic. And a lot of the time we might be forgiving ourselves. Yes, we might be forgiving somebody else or just a situation, whatever, but it's very important to feel it. If it's painful, whatever, feel it as much as you're ready for. Accept the things that are coming through, and you can speak your prayer, speak whatever it is you need to. And then the secret is being grateful, turning it into something that you are actually grateful for. The process is not complete until you can look at the situation and be grateful for something in there. You can start small, and then over time you might forgive the same thing over and over again. You might find much deeper lessons to be grateful for in there. And then another part of the gratitude practice that I find very, very beneficial is the PPP times 3. And so that's 3 things in your personal life and your relationships or something you want to be very, very grateful for and practice that gratitude for. 3 things in your professional life and 3 things in your physical life. And the more you intentionally practice feeling this gratitude and looking for things to be grateful for, the more your life will seem very, very different in not very long at all. After gratitude, it is natural to go into the love bomb, where this practice is maybe starting small in the center of the heart, and one little atom in there or whatnot. You feel as much love as possible, and then you expand it. Maybe then you expand it to your whole body. Fill it with as much love and light as possible. Expand it to the whole room, the whole building or park that you're in, the whole county, the whole state, the whole country, the continent, the whole planet, every life form on it. You love bomb it, right? Fill it with as much light and love as possible. Good thing we try to clean ourselves, forgive the stuff we need to forgive, and then we're just opening up into as much pure love as possible. Beyond the planet, you can go to the solar system, you can go to the galaxy, the universe, the thing that holds universes. Go all the way out to as much as possible to everything, to God, whatever you want to call it. Just bringing as much love as possible. And then you can condense it all back down. Feel it in your body again. Bring it big and wide. So you're exploding with love, loving everybody, everything on the planet. I am loving awareness. Loving awareness. Everything you can be aware of. Fill it with love. And again, this changes your life so fast. Let's say there's some inconvenience at the grocery store. Somebody's really rude to you at the grocery store, right? And you can think back to your practice in the morning. It's like, well, I sent this person love today. I can keep sending them love now just because it is a choice. I can be aware of what is going on and I can choose love. And practicing that, literally in our brain, in our body, every morning, the benefits of that cannot be understated. I know it seems like maybe a silly little practice to some. Oh, just explode with love. No, this has a real difference, at least for you and the pathways in your brain that either going to choose love or anger or something, right? Number 5 is transcendental meditation based or deep state meditation. And the point of this is just relaxing deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. You can use a mantra for this. You can use a body scan, any other entry method that works for you. But the point is to shift from, stressy beta waves into alpha, then theta, ramping up, even delta dominant waves, and gamma especially, which is those super high frequency ones, right? And as we do this, we're feeling our heart and feeling our brain, and they start feel really weird at some point. There's a whole ton of energy there, and that's heart-brain coherence. A very helpful little hack to help you go deeper and get the most value out of this time is listening with reverential awareness, listening like you are about to be told the greatest secret in the world, greatest secret in your life. So you're relaxing deeper and deeper and deeper and keeping that alertness, that listening, because who knows what you might receive in that spot, right? If you're wondering what the hell coherence is, the coherent state shows up in your respiration, shows up in your heart rate variability, and shows up in your blood pressure, and shows up in your brain waves. And this is all measurable if you hook up to the fancy equipment, but you can also just feel it. And the more you practice coming into coherence, the easier and faster you will get at it. There's a whole bunch of health benefits, a whole bunch of mental benefits and all of that, and you can research those on your old time. I'm trying to keep this video short, hey? The next stage I call life envisioning, which is a term used by Reverend Michael Beckwith from Agape. But it's about experiencing or envisioning your perfect life, your future now. You can feel it in your blood, in your bones. Feel, receive the energy of your desired future now. You're bringing it here. So you can see, feel, smell, listen, all the detail you can bring up here is going to be great. And you can also just open yourself up a little bit here and like, what is my purpose? What am I working on? What is important to me, 10 years from now and whatnot? Just having a minute or two in your day to really feel into that and make space for that and remind yourself, oh, wow, this is what I'm aiming for. My actions today better line up with that, right? Feeling that emotion now, absolute game changer. Then after that, we have creating the perfect day now. So you can envision like, okay, it's 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning or whatever, and so on, so on. Like, what do you want to happen today? How are you going to show up to make this day the best day possible? So here we are gaining clarity. We are creating clarity on what actions are most important to do today, what choices we want to make, what emotions we want to feel. And this is how we have a little vision, just like an Olympic athlete, and then we go and execute that day. Again, I cannot understate how powerful this practice is to just make space to focus on what's important and to choose how you want your day to go to as much of an extent as possible. So the next stage here is prayer. We can communicate with whoever, right? Whether it's an inspiration, an ancestor, a mentor, whatever. We have those like voices of somebody wise in our head. And those are actually super useful. We can communicate with them, ask them for wisdom, or ask the older, wiser version of ourselves for wisdom. Ask the 80-year-old version, hey, what do you think about this? how do I navigate this situation, right? And they can give you that wisdom. And who knows, it's coming from inside. That's kind of like a technique for gnosis. But any prayer that you find useful, beneficial, whatever, right? And for me, the 3 ingredients in all the best prayers is 1, you have an open heart, right? 2, we're grateful for what is. We're receiving just what we need to receive. And 3, we are willing to do the work. If there's work to be done, it's no use like praying for something without actually taking action. So we're praying for the ability to do something rather than the thing to just happen, yeah? Jesus instructs us to pray without ceasing, which you could take that lesson into basically all of these other meditation stages, except for the deep state transcendental one. Don't do that one while driving. No, but most of these ones you can just practice awareness and all of that, right? Pray without ceasing as well. Open-hearted, grateful, willing to do what is required of us. So after that stage, after that, 2 minutes of dedicated prayer, for instance, I like to get up, move around, shake around, feel my body, come back to my physical senses, just kind of wake up the body, right? You can do exercises, mobility work, even like push-ups or something, meditative push-ups. And that kind of concludes your practice for the day. Throughout the whole thing, we want to be noticing the flow, noticing how all sensations arise and pass away, all emotions, all thoughts, all energy frequencies, like they all arise and they pass away. Even desires, aversions, doubts, they dissolve too. And a fun little game to play is trying to sense where you are aware from. Because probably everything in awareness, you call it like an object of awareness, but it's not awareness itself. What doesn't change? All right, let's review all the stages here and put them into suggested timing. I've got something similar set up on my interval timer right now, and I modify it on the day if I want longer time here, for instance. Overall, it's about 30 minutes. Sometimes I'll add an extra 10 minutes to something there. But 4 minutes of sense awareness, what is in awareness, all the senses. 4 minutes of the subtle awareness, the thoughts, the emotions, all that. 8 minutes of some sort of breath practice, Wim Hof method, Tumo, box breathing, whatever it is, energy work, chakras, all of that, central microcosmic orbit. 2 minutes of forgiving, 2 minutes of that gratitude practice, 2 minutes of love bombing, and then 5 to 10 minutes of deep state of, that transcendental meditation. We're just really relaxing deeper and deeper and deeper. And then after that, you can pop out and you should be very clear in a space where you can receive your life envisioning, where you can generate that life vision, create the perfect day, open into some sort of prayer, and then 2 minutes of kind of free movement. If you've been sitting for a while, this feels really good. Come back into your body, still practicing your awareness as much as possible. Again, this is all just a suggestion. Please adapt this to whatever is most beneficial for you. And it's okay if it's challenging practice, right? You're never going to feel perfect at your practice. You're never going to feel like you have the best practice in the world. If you want to just do one of these, that's fine too. If you want to set them up in stages like this, then I highly suggest using a timer so you can fully focus, and then the bell will tell you when it's time to move on. Quick tips. If you currently have a practice you love already, that's great. Personally, I like to experiment with new things. Maybe try something I don't love, right? An awkward meditation, and just see what that is like. You can try any of these stages, mixing it in. You can mix in your own practice to the multi-stage thing, whatever you want there. Make it super doable. So, don't think, oh my gosh, I need to do like 40 minutes of meditation today, and I don't have time, whatever. If it's just 2 minutes of like listening and breathing, that's absolutely fine. Just make it super doable, and then you can build on it from there. When life gets busy, then it is probably all the more important to have this focus time where you can ground yourself, expand your awareness, develop the freedom for emotional responses as you see fit, and envision like what's important. Focus on what's important, how you want your day to go. It is all the more important when life gets busy. So please carve time out for it. If it doesn't work in the morning, maybe you just have 5 minutes in the morning, and then you do, a 20-minute practice in the evening, whatever works. But just make sure that you are setting yourself up for success and not using busyness as an excuse to not do what is actually a very high leverage activity. Now, if you do this meditation once and you're like, okay, this is weird, and then you might not notice that your life is totally amazing and different yet. Give it weeks, give it months to compound. You just have to go through it and notice the changes for yourself. I know this video seemed long, but trust me, it's condensed down of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours of study and practice of different meditation things that I've smushed into here. Now, if you want to get the bigger benefits, dive deeper into it, then that's all in the bonus resources. Along with the interval timer, you can find that in here as well. Be compassionate, be humble, be a powerful force for good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for spiraling up awareness, practice, integration. See you in the next one.